So, what happened to my 96 3800 Turbo Camaro? What happened? First off, let's go back in time, talk about some of the work that I did to the car and where the car is at this moment. More specifically, let's talk about the engine and the internal work that I did to the engine. But before I get into this, I want to let everyone know I'm no YouTuber, and this is pretty much an update on the vehicle because I have posted this vehicle before, and a lot of folks are probably wondering where's the Camaro, right? So this is me updating everyone on where the progress is and how the car is doing. So let's get into it. So if you haven't seen a 3800 rear wheel drive with the upper intake off, this is pretty much what it looks like. And here's another picture, a close-up of the lower intake. If you have ever removed one of these intake manifolds, then you'll know it's a lot of work to get to this point. So whenever I'm doing this type of work, I always use Velcro gaskets because they're pretty much the best out there right now, and I've never had an issue with one of their gaskets failing. So now we have the valve covers off. You can see the lifters, the springs, and at this point I believe I did change those stock springs that came with the engine and installed LS6 springs. They fit and they're a lot stronger, which is better for higher RPMs. And the stiffer the springs are, you're less likely to have valve float. So with this picture, you can see all the lifters are out, all the push rods are out. A lot of folks will say just eliminate the balance shaft, but I didn't really see a need to do that, so it's pretty much in the car untouched. So with this next picture, we're pretty much in the heart of the engine. You can see the piston, the head of the piston. You can see the cylinder bore, the conditions the bores are in. And for an engine with about 180,000 miles at the time, it doesn't look too bad. I gotta be honest with you. But just look at that. So while I had the cylinder head off the engine, it was the perfect time to upgrade the, the valve springs with stiffer springs, pull the valves and clean them up and lap them so they're perfectly sealing to the cylinder head. It was just the best time to do this, so I just went right ahead and took care of that. And to my surprise, none of the valves were bent, and I'm surprised because one of the pictures coming up, you'll see that things did get out of hand. But before that, here is one of the cylinder heads that I just got cleaned up, sanded. The way I went about sanding this and cleaning it up is I pretty much got a flat piece of glass, and I don't remember what Grit sandpaper it was, but I did use glass and sandpaper to sand this thing down smooth. Then I pretty much got a straight edge and checked it with feeler gauge, and it was within spec. So yeah, I just went with it. So now that all the pistons are out of the block, the connecting rods, everything is out the block at this point. Now is when a lot of the most important changes happened, such as replacing the piston rings. Not only did I replace them, but I gapped the piston rings for boost, which is important if you're running a turbo, right? So with that done, I also went ahead and replaced all 6 connecting rods and the connecting bearings because one of the connecting rods were bent. So I had no choice but to replace that one. But if I'm there already, I'll just replace all of it so I don't have to, do this whole thing all over again. But before I go any further, I know a lot of folks are gonna ask, how did I remove the pistons with the engine still in the car? Well, this is what I used. It's pretty much a engine support that you stretch across both strut tower, and you hook the engine up to it with the chain, and yeah, it's pretty much supporting the engine while you're working on it. Is it the safest thing? No, but can you get the job done? Definitely yes, because that's what I used and that's what got the job done. Now, the next question would be, how did I get the cylinders so shiny and so clean, well hound? How did I do it with the engine still in the vehicle? Well, this is what I used. A lot of folks call this thing by many names. You decide, but it's pretty much what I used to get the job done. The drill played a pretty big part of it because it had the right angle so I could get to the cylinders all the way in the back. Um, I had to cut this thing in half just so it'll work the way I want it to work. Um, but yeah, it pretty much got the job done. I mean, at the end of the last cylinder, this thing was pretty much coming apart. But as you can see, the cylinder is there, nice and shiny. Um, nice cross etching, just the way you want it. So yeah, this thing did its job. So this is one of the pistons that I took out of the engine. I'm not sure which cylinder it came from because it never went back in. The piston did, but not the connecting rod. Like I said earlier, I replaced all 6 connecting rods. Um, but I do want to point out that they say when you replace the connecting rod, the bearings, whatever, you need to replace the bolts. Um, I wasn't going to get ARP studs because they were just too expensive at the time for me to add to the build because I was pretty much on a budget. So I took the chance and I reused the bolts that I got with the new connecting rods that I had ordered. There was a slight chance those bolts would be new with the remanufactured connecting rods, so I just kind of went with that choice. Um, yeah, so that's what I did. And here you can see what pretty much started this whole thing in the first place. I realized that I had a bent piston when I took the cylinder head off in the first place. This was maybe a year or so before I actually went and replaced the connecting rods. So that's what this picture is. So I know a lot of folks are gonna have questions. So let me just go ahead and try to answer maybe one or two of those questions. So a part of this was changing the rod bearings. Did I resurface the crank journal? Did I do any type of machining work? No, because when I removed the rods and pistons from the engine, there were literally no uh, wear or tear on the crank journal. So when I ordered replacement bearings, I pretty much just went with the standard size. I didn't go oversized. I didn't have to sand the journals down. I pretty much just installed the bearings and everything, and that was it. Another big thing is going to be how much did I gap the piston rings. I don't remember exact number as to how much I gapped the rings, but I do remember gapping those rings for what is essentially 15 to 25 pounds of boost. So for those folks who made it all the way to the end, keep in mind that I'm no YouTuber. The audio on this video probably is the worst. The video editing, yeah, the whole works. But I felt like this was something that I needed to do because I did post it, though I did post those first couple of videos. I know a lot of folks watch those videos and they probably tried to get some useful information from those videos. So I wanted to make this video to pretty much show you how I went about it. Not specifics, because this is not an how-to video. I'm not gonna tell you how to work on your car, show you how to do a specific thing, because I just can't, do that. However, I will show you both of these images. One that shows my odometer right after I did all of this internal engine work, and one that is my current odometer reading. So what happened to my 96 3800 turbo Camaro?